mine, he's cute, I think as I tighten the strings of my green apron, ready to take the customer's order. He's not a regular and he doesn't look like he fits here. He looks like he just stepped out of a magazine or a board meeting. Or both. The espresso machine hisses, and the rich aroma of coffee beans fills the air. As I work, I try to focus, but my mind wanders. Don't think about the past. I try to think about other things, things that aren't depressing. I try not to think of my stepmother, who took over all of my father's properties since he died. And I definitely tried not to think about my silly ex-boyfriend. Order up, Becky yells, sliding a cup of caramel macchiato onto the counter. I grab it and walk to the man to give him his order. That's the door of the cafe opens and he walks in. Dante. My stomach tightens. His sandy blonde hair is styled to perfection, but now it just looks like it has much product in it. He wears that smug grin I once found charming. Now it only makes me want to gag. Dante strolls in like he owns the place. His arm casually slung over another girly brunette in a tight crop top. My heart sinks. It's only been a week since I caught him scrolling through dating apps on his phone during our dinner date. When I confronted him, he brushed it off, claiming I was overreacting. I dumped him on the spot. But what is he doing here? Jasmine. Dante's voice carries across the room. Heads turn. You working hard or hardly working? I ignore him, setting the caramel macchiato down in front of the customer. The man looks at me and for a second, Dante fades into the background. But Dante isn't done. He swaggers up to me. So Jasmine, he says, leaning in with an infuriating smirk. Still mad I moved on. Maybe you shouldn't have been such a prude and just given it up. Freeze. My blood boils as every customer's gaze seems to pierce through me. The insult echoes in my mind. Dante's tone drips with condescension as if I had been the problem. How dare he? Rage boils through my veins. It's not that big a deal, he adds. If you just give it up, I'll be kind to take you back. First he cheats on me, now this. The rage in my blood increases. Without thinking, I reach for the nearest cup of coffee, a steaming black brew, and fling its contents at Dante. I turned to the man I took the coffee from, the one who looked like he stepped out of a magazine. Cute, spruce and dandy, and told him, "You wouldn't want to drink that anyway. The coffee isn't that good." "You what the hell?" he splutters, jumping back as the coffee soaks through his designer polo. I glare at him, my hand still gripping the teacup. Maybe next time think before you open your mouth, Dante. A ripple of laughter breaks out among the customers. I look around, my gaze landing on the man in the corner watching me with dark, enigmatic eyes. Dante's face turns beet red as the brunette quickly ushers him out the door. I stand there, my heart racing and my chest heaving. "Jasmine," Becky hisses, pulling me to the gate. "What was that?" "He deserved it," I snap. "Yeah, maybe, but now you're in trouble." As if on cue, my manager appears. His stern face already twisted in disappointment. "Jasmine, why would you treat a customer this way?" "He's not just a customer, and he came here to taunt me," I respond. "I don't care what he did. This isn't professional. We could get sued." "I'm sorry, Jasmine, but I have to let you go." My face burns with humiliation as I replay the scene. Was it worth it? A tiny part of me says yes. But now, standing on the porch of the small house I share with my stepmother, dread settles in my stomach. I push the door open to find Margareta sitting at the dining table, a glass of wine in hand. Despite the early afternoon hour, Her perfectly manicured nails tap against the glass as her sharp eyes fix on me. "Well," Margareta says, her voice dripping with mock concern. "How was work, dear daughter?" I drop my bag by the door and don't answer. Margareta smirks, taking a slow sip of her wine. "Oh, don't bother lying. Already heard. You caused a scene and got yourself fired again." I clench my fists. Of course Margareta already knows. This woman seems to have spies everywhere. "I didn't cause a scene," I mutter. "Oh, but you did," Margareta says, standing and walking toward me. She places a hand on her hip, her diamond bracelet catching the light. "And now you've embarrassed me again. Do you know how humiliating it is to have people whispering about my stepdaughter's tantrums?" I bite my tongue, unwilling to give Margareta the satisfaction of an argument. Since my father's death, I've avoided Margareta, not giving her the satisfaction of knowing I'm miserable. "You know what?" Margareta continues, her voice growing sharper. "I've had enough. You can't keep embarrassing me like this." "What are you saying?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. "I'm saying," Margareta replies, walking over to the door and pulling it open, "you're not welcome here anymore. Pack your things." "But this is my father's house, you can't dash." "Oh, but I can. He left everything to me, and I'm not wasting it on someone who's too immature to handle her own life." The words hit me like a slap. Tears sting my eyes, but I refuse to let them fall. I won't give Margareta the satisfaction. I grab my backpack and head for my room. It doesn't take long to pack. My belongings fit into a single duffel bag and an old suitcase. By sunset, I'm back on the street, my car packed with what little I own. I park in an empty lot downtown, lean my seat back, and stare at the cracked ceiling of my old sedan. The weight of the day presses down on my chest. I've lost my job. I've lost my home. I have nothing and no one. Morning comes too soon. A security guard taps on my window, jolting me awake. "Miss, you can't sleep here," he says. I nod groggily, start the car, and pull out of the lot. My stomach growls, reminding me I haven't since breakfast the day before. I park in front of a dinar and scroll through my phone, looking for job listings. Most of them require experience I don't have. My eyes blur with frustration as I click through ad after ad, finding nothing. Then one headline catches my eye. "Live-in nanny wanted. Competitive pay. Flexible hours. Must love children." Hesitate. I don't have much experience with kids, but I've babysat a few times in high school. And live-in sounds perfect. I need somewhere to stay. I click the ad and quickly fill out the online application, praying for a miracle. Hours later, my phone buzzes. "Hello, is this Jasmine Monroe?" A deep, smooth voice asks on the other end. "Yes, this is Jasmine." "This is Sammie Black," the man says. "I'd like to interview you for the nanny position. Are you available to come to my house this afternoon?" My heart skips a beat. Sammie Black. The name sounds vaguely familiar. I agree, scribbling down the address he gives me. As I drive across town, my nerves kick in. What if I'm not good enough? What if this is another dead end? When I pull up to the mansion's gates, my jaw drops. The house is enormous, with sleek modern architecture and a perfectly manicured lawn. I park my car and ring the doorbell, fidgeting with the strap of my bag. The door opens and I'm surprised to see the man from the coffee shop. The man who watched me dunk his cup of coffee on Dante. "You!" we both say in unison. My cheeks burn as Sammie's lips curve into a slow, amused smile. "Well," he says, leaning against the doorframe, "this just got interesting." My mouth opens and closes like a fish out of water, words utterly failing me. Of all the places in the world, of all the employers seeking a nanny, fate has brought me to him. Sammie Black. He introduces himself. Wait, I think that I know that name. The famous Samuel Jaden Blackberry. And now, here he is, leaning casually against the massive oak door of his ultramodern mansion, looking at me like I'm the punchline to some private joke. Are you going to say something, or should I just assume this isn't the right address for you? Sammie quips, his deep voice tinged with amusement. I snap out of my shock, gripping the strap of my bag tighter. I am here for the nanny position. Sammie raises an eyebrow, clearly not expecting that answer. He crosses his arms, his tailored black shirt stretching across broad shoulders. You. A nanny? My cheeks flush. Yes. Me. Why? Is that so hard to believe? Let's just say you didn't strike me as the childcare type, he replies, the corner of his mouth twitching in amusement. Don't judge a book by its cover. When he doesn't budge from the door, I grow desperate and add, please, yesterday was a mistake, I would never have acted that way. Ever. He blinks. If you have doubts, why don't you let the child decide? Sammie finally lets out a breath, stepping aside to let me in. Touché. Come in, Ms. Monroe. Let's see if you're as sharp with kids as you are with words. I hesitate before stepping into the house, my sneakers squeaking slightly on the polished marble floor. The interior is just as breathtaking as the exterior: high ceilings, sleek furniture, and floor-to-ceiling windows that offer a stunning view of the expansive backyard. I follow Sammie down a hallway, my nerves settling slightly as I focus on the sound of my steps. He stops at a cozy sitting room, where a little girl sits curled up on a plush couch, clutching a stuffed bunny. This is my daughter Sheila, he says, his tone softening. Sheila glances up, her big brown eyes full of curiosity but also a hint of wariness. She's a petite girl no older than 6, with dark curls framing her face and a quiet demeanor that tugs at my heart. Hi, Sheila, I say, crouching down to her level. I'm Jasmine. I might be hanging out with you for a while if your dad thinks I'm cool enough. Sheila doesn't respond, but her grip on the bunny loosens slightly. She's a little shy, Sammie explains, leaning against the doorframe. That's okay, I say with a warm smile. Shy people are usually the coolest. To my surprise, Sheila's lips twitch into the faintest of smiles before she buries her face in her bunny. I stand, turning back to Sammie, and smile a bit wide. Me thinks the young lady likes me. Sammie smirks. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Follow me. We move to Sammie's office, a sleek space filled with bookshelves and minimalist decor. He gestures for me to sit in one of the leather chairs across from his glass desk. I perch on the edge, trying not to fidget under his intense gaze. So, tell me about your experience, Sammie says, sitting across from me. His eyes lock onto mine, sharp and assessing. Swallow. I babysat for a few families back in high school. Nothing fancy, just the usual homework help, bedtime stories, that sort of thing. I know I don't have years of nanny experience, but I'm good with kids, and I'm a fast learner. Sammie's expression doesn't give away much, so I push on. I know how to cook, clean, and keep a schedule. And I'm patient. I know kids need someone who can listen to them, and I think I can do that for Sheila. He leans back, his fingers steepled. Why are you applying for this job? I hesitate, debating how much to reveal. Finally, I opt for the truth. I need somewhere to stay. My stepmother kicked me out and I'm kind of in between homes right now. Sammie raises an eyebrow, but he doesn't interrupt. I don't have much to my name, I continue. But I've always worked hard for what I do have. I'm not looking for handouts, I just need a chance. For a long moment, Sammie doesn't say anything. His gaze is unreadable, his silence unnerving. Then he stands, walking to the window and looking out at the backyard. "You're honest," he says finally, his voice quiet but firm. "I respect that." I blink, unsure how to respond. "I'll be upfront with you too," he continues, turning back to me. "This job isn't easy. Sheila needs someone she can trust, someone who won't flake or get overwhelmed. She's been through a lot, and I won't let anyone hurt her." "I would never hurt her," I say, my voice steady. Sammie studies me for another long moment, then nods. "The job is yours. On a trial basis." My heart leaps. "Really? Really?" he says, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "But if you screw this up, you're out." "Deal." "Deal," I say, unable to hide my grin. Asterisk. Later that evening, I sit on the twin-sized bed in the guest room that is now mine. The room is small but cozy, with soft gray walls and a window that overlooks the garden. I unpack my duffel bag, placing my few belongings neatly in the drawers. A small notebook catches my eye, and I open it to the first page, where I've written a list of goals months ago. 1. Save enough to move out. 2. Get a job as an accountant. 3. Find happiness. I smile to myself. This job isn't what I'd expected, but it's a start. A soft knock at the door pulls me from my thoughts. "Come in," I call. The door creaks open and Sheila peeks in, still clutching her bunny. "Hi, Sheila," I say gently. "What's up?" Sheila hesitates, then walks over and hands me a crayon drawing. It shows a stick figure version of me next to Sheila, both of us smiling. "Is this us?" I ask, my chest tightening. Sheila nods, a small smile gracing her lips. "It's perfect," I say, carefully pinning the drawing to the wall beside my bed. "Thank you, Sheila." The little girl gives a shy wave and pads back to her room. I sit back down, my heart full. But when I think about Sammie, my head does a funny beat. Why does the thought of my new boss make me feel strange things?